Hello, good day everyone. So this will be your laboratory activity. So I'll be giving instructions on how to use different networking commands or troubleshooting commands. So in Windows, this is specifically for Windows. So these are some of the commands na ginagamit when you are troubleshooting network, and this is very important. At least you have an idea on how to troubleshoot networks. So some of those are very much, or most of this one are very much in use para to check if there is problem in your network. Okay, so let's start first with the ping or the packet internet groper. So it is probably the simplest TCP/IP diagnostic utility ever created, but the information that it can provide you with is important. Simply put, ping tells you whether or not your workstation can communicate with another machine. So the acronym for ping is packet internet groper. So kaya tinawag na groper. Well, basically you are looking for uncertain. Okay, so that is the meaning of groper. You are looking for uncertain. So just like in networking, when you are pinging something, you are checking if a particular server or computer is existing. Okay, so so the ping is very important for connectivity testing. So if you're going to use the ping command, if you're going to use the ping command, it's either you ping the IP address, for example, I'm going to ping my router here. So just ping 192.168.1.1. Okay, as you can see, this is the latency of or the latency of your connectivity, or how fast a packet travels on your network. So this is 4 ms to 3 ms. So this is a ping on our router, on my router. So you can also use the ping, then followed by the -t. Okay, so without the -t, you only given 4 results. So with ping with the -t command, so basically it's a continuous ping. So it's very important when you are troubleshooting network, kasi sometimes you are testing networks. You are testing networks or isolating problems on the network. So basically, ang ginagawa is you're going to try to isolate a particular device or a particular computer, and then test if the network will have a good ping or dire-diretso siya. Okay? So that's how important is ping is. So you monitor the stability of the network by the ping command. Okay? So you can always terminate that one by pressing Control C. Okay? Or Control C. So you can terminate the ping by pressing Control C. Okay, you can ping an IP address or a computer name or a domain name. Let's say, for example, google.com. Okay, so without the -t, you will be given 4 responses. So if you're going to use the -t, it is a continuous ping. Okay, so that is our first command, so the ping command. Okay, the next command is the ipconfig/all. So command that shows you the machine's IP configuration as Windows sees it. So basically, the ipconfig/all, ina-output niya lahat ng IP addresses on all of your network devices. Kahit yung mga virtual machines na merong IP na naka-install on your computer, i-view niya. So just to give you an example, let's terminate this one, Control C. So I'm going to use ipconfig/all. Okay, so mapapansin nyo, I have the list or the details of the IP addresses. So let's say in this one, yung network interface card ko uses 1.3 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0 with a gateway of 192.168.1.1. So yung gateway is mostly your router. Okay, so basically the gateway is the router. Okay, and these are other configurations on on the network devices installed in my computer. Okay, so that is the ipconfig slash all. We also have the ipconfig slash release. Okay, the purpose of that one, the ipconfig slash release, is for you to test if the computer can still acquire an IP whether on a DHCP server or any device that acts as a DHCP server. Okay? Or a router which acts as a DHCP server. Kasi sometimes naiiwan lang yung IP but nagkakaproblema ka pala on other computers na hindi siya nabibigyan ng IP. So for you to test if the DHCP server is working, you can release it first. Just type ipconfig slash release. Okay? So basically, I don't know some of the there's a virtual network here, so iba yung IP addressing nun. But on your physical hardware or network interface, makikita nyo, nagiging media disconnected siya. Because the ipconfig slash release releases IP address, nirelease niya yung IP address on your network interface card. So meaning to say, sinaset niya sa all zeros yung mga yung IP address ng iyong network. Okay? So that is ipconfig slash release. So binabalik lang niya to all zeros. Your IP will now become all zero. Okay? So when you restart, possible na makakuha ulit siya ng IP. But if you wanted to release, you can always use the ipconfig slash release. Okay, next is we have the ipconfig slash renew. So usually yan yung magka-pair, the ipconfig slash release, because when you release it, all of your network devices will be assigned all zeros sa mga IP nila. So for you to bring back the IP, if there is a working DHCP server, you can always type ipconfig slash renew. Okay, then press enter. Okay, automatically I have my IP again, the 192.168.1.3 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0 with gateway 192.168.1.1. So that is the function of the ipconfig slash renew. Okay, we need to renew. If, for example, if your renewal fails, kasi naka-DHCP siya, so there is problem with your DHCP server. Whether the server is disconnected or the DHCP configuration is not working or not properly configured. Okay, so always remember to release and then to renew IP addresses to check if the DHCP server is working on your network. Okay, so the next one is the trace route. Okay, so it's since ping command checks if there is a connection to your destination. So in trace route naman, kaya tinawag na trace route is you are tracing the route of your packet, kung saan ba siya dumadaan. So remember that on the internet working, there are computer servers which are connected to one another and they are connected with routers. Okay? So mapapansin nyo, there are on the internet, all of the connectivities are connected with routers. The trace route allows you to trace how your packet travels on different routers bago siya makarating sa destination. So the purpose of this one is to check if your packet kung saan siya humihinto or saan siya nagkakaproblema. Okay? So meaning to say, if there is may mga putol on your trace route, there's a possibility na on the path going to your destination, there is a problem with the connectivity. Okay, matatrace nyo rin na kapag lumabas na yung na-trace nyo that the IP of your gateway, which is your router, is okay naman. So meaning to say, it may be the router outside of your network. Okay, so that is the function of the trace route. So let's say, for example, let's trace route google.com. Let's trace rt google.com TRACERT, let's say google.com. So it will check kung saan siya first dadaan. So mapapansin niya dumaan siya on the router. They mean to say the packet exits my router. Okay, pupunta siya sa isang router again outside of your network kasi lumabas na siya sa 192.168.1.1. So meaning that is another router outside of the internet or on the internet. So with an IP 100.6.69.0.1, then pumunta na siya sa 122.2.174.202, then on so on and so forth. So basically, dito nyo makikita how many hops or how many routers do your packet travels over the network. Okay, so eto siya. So you are tracing the route of your packet coming from your computer going to the destination until it reaches the IP of the google.com. Okay, so this is the final router na dinaanan niya before it completes the entire cycle of transmission. So that is the traceroute command. Okay, next is we have the host name. So the host name, ang function lang naman niya is to view the computer name or the name of the device. So just type host name, then press enter. Okay, so this is my computer's name. Okay. Let's try it again. Host name. Okay, so that is my computer name. So that is the function of the host name. So next is we have the pathping. Actually, it's almost the same as the traceroute, pero ito medyo limited lang yung details. So it will just give you preview of the route or the number of hops or the hops kung saan siya dumadaan. So let's try pathping google.com. Okay, this is my computer's IP. Then on the gateway, it's almost the same as the traceroute. Okay, you have different routers na dinaanan ng packet nyo hanggang sa matapos yung entire transmission. Okay, so computing statistics for 250 seconds. So hindi ko natatapusin. I can always terminate that one with Control C. So the function is almost the same as the trace routes. So with a few details about the entire path of your packet. Okay, so that is the trace route, the pathping. Okay. So next is we have the netstat. So display different types of TCP/IP statistics for active software and connection. So eto din-display lang niya yung mga TCP/IP ports which is active on your connections. So kung ano ba yung mga gumaganang ports? Remember, I already discussed this one, that on the internet port we have the 1 to 65,535 ports. And if that is open on your computer, so there's a possibility of entry of different malwares and viruses on those different ports. So you have a very huge number of ports on your network para pasukan ng kung ano-ano. Okay, so the function of the netstat is for you to evaluate what's happening on your network in terms of the services and ports na ginagamit on your network transmissions or in network connectivity. So let's try this one, the netstat. Just press enter. Okay, so the first column is the protocol. This is a TCP. So as we are referring to TCP protocol. Okay, so we also have the local address or the computer's address. Kung makikita nyo, the first one is yung mga nauna are the 127.0.0.1 or the local host. Okay, so this is the ports. So I mean to say these are the open ports in your computer. So we have also your computer's IP. So this is my computer's IP. Same also with the ports open on my computer. And at the same time also, the third column is the foreign address. So these are the computers you are communicating with. Okay, so you have the established communication on this foreign address or destination. Kung mapapansin nyo, this is also my computer. There's a software working on a particular port in my computer. So since I'm browsing something over the internet, so basically I have foreign addresses here. Okay, I have established connection and we have the close and wait connection here. Status, so meaning to say I connect, then I close a connection depending on the service. So masyado siyang madami to define, but the purpose of the netstat is kahit paano you have an idea kung ano ba yung mga services or ports na gumagamit on your network, particularly on your computer. Okay, where it's an incoming or outgoing ports. So basically, dito yung nakikita. At the same time, also, when it comes to troubleshooting, kasi minsan mapapansin nyo, baka mamaya, merong foreign address na nasa local area network lang, na hindi ka naman kumokonect, pero napakadaming ports or service na ginagamit niya. Okay? Ulitin ko ulit. Sa netstat, you can also view how other computers communicate with you through the different services, through the different ports on the network. Okay? So, makikita nyo, baka mamaya merong worm, o yung, kaya nga siya tinawag na worm, or kahit walang ginagawa yung computer, nagbabato siya ng virus on other computers, so without having an interaction with, because that is a worm virus, so meaning to say, it automatically generates an attack over the network. So, mapapansin nyo dyan, baka on a particular computer, let's say, a PC5. So, I have so many, this is PC5. Nasa third column, baka madaming nakalagay PC5 computer, and madami siya mga ports. Makikita nyo on the second column, makikita nyo yung mga ports na ginagamit niya. So, meaning to say, there's something wrong. Why is this computer is interacting with my computer kahit hindi naman ako nag-access sa kanya? Okay, there may be something wrong with the network. Baka mayroong siyang binabato on my network na kung ano, or a DDoS, so a distributed denial of service attack. So baka mamaya binabato niya yon. Kaya since I'm not connecting on that computer, pero ang dami niyang request, because based on the ports na ginagamit niya, ang dami niyang ginagamit on this portion. Okay? So that is the purpose of the netstat. As much as to monitor what's happening on your computer in terms of network communication. Okay, so that is a netstat command. Next is we have the getmac. So basically, the purpose of this one is just to get the MAC address, okay, just of your network interfaces. So just type getmac, and then press enter. Okay, there you go. So these are the physical addresses or the MAC addresses of my network devices. Okay, so that is the purpose of the getmac. Next is we have, or the last one is the ARP. ARP, the function of the ARP is just like the netstat, but the purpose of this one is to display all of the computers that communicates with you in terms of its MAC addresses. Okay, you can type ARP -A, then press enter. Okay, those are the possible devices which communicates with my computer. Okay, so that is the ARP, or the Address Resolution Protocol. So I'll be discussing that on other topics. So that it has something to do with, the ARP has something to do with the MAC addresses. Okay, so that is the ARP command. Okay. So, I still have one pala. We have the nslookup. So, I think nabanggit ko na rin naman sa inyo what is the purpose of an nslookup. So, basically, I already mentioned that every web servers do have public IP on it. Okay? So, always remember that for you to be able to get the IP addresses, the IP address or IP addresses being used by a particular website, you can always use the nslookup. For example, this is nslookup google.com. Press enter. So I have here the IP address of google.com. So I can connect through this address. So mapapansin nyo, mapapansin nyo, it outputs 216.50.197.110. 216.50.197.110 is the IP address used, or a public IP address used by google.com. So makikita nyo yung unang list, that is an IP version 6 IP address. So I'll be discussing that on other topics. But that is the purpose of the nslookup command, to view or to output the IP address or IP addresses used by a particular web server. Okay, so or a domain. Okay, so some of the examples, or some of those will result you with multiple IP. There are websites who uses different IP addresses. Okay, let's check yahoo.com. Let's type nslookup, then yahoo.com. Okay, so as you can see, I have here so many list of, or so many IP addresses, IP version 6 and IP version 4. So that is the IP addresses being used by yahoo.com. Okay, so that ends my presentation for today. So I'll leave you with your laboratory activity. So all you have to do is just follow the instruction there. So always remember to do a screenshot of what you're doing about a particular command. So i-screenshot nyo lang siya, then all of your screenshots will be uploaded to the canvas. So under the quiz, under net101L. Okay, just work on that laboratory activity and make this video as your reference. Okay, so that will be all for the presentation. So work on the activity. Okay, thank you.